Lockhart Perspective. Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. It looks like there just might be some more bad news for Miss Tiffany Henyard out of, Illinois. We've all been following this story for quite some time. And so we're going to take a look at it right now. I am not surprised, but it looks like there's some controversy that has been brewing there over the tax proposal that involves Tiffany Henyard. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me well. Let me know if you guys can. All right, let's just check this out. Make sure the sound is okay. Nope, it's not. It's down low. All right. There we go. That should be a lot better. All right, so now let's just get right into it, shall we? Good. Hello. I want to say hello. All right, so the controversy brews over South suburban tax proposals involving Tiffany Henyard. It would appear that there's some folks that don't agree with this young lady, and there are lawmakers in Chicago's South suburbs that are raising concerns over a tax proposal amid questions about its potential use. The trustees of Thornton Township have expressed reservations about the proposal's advancements. A coalition of South suburban mayors. So this is not dealing specifically with her. It deals with her in that she's over the township, and there are 17 cities or towns in that township. But this heat is not coming directly from those that we've seen. This is heat coming from other mayors saying, hey, we don't think this money should go over there unless we know for a fact that it is going for the mental health organization that they claim they are going to start with the money. Okay, so this story may cover what I just said, but I just want to make sure everybody knew who this was. Now, they're saying that there is nearly $3 million in additional funding to Thornton Township and the supervisor, Tiffany Henyard. Now, there are mayors that convened with Fox 32 from Markham, Homewood, and East Hazelcrest on today. They are a part of an 11 group of mayors who penned a letter urging the residents to vote against granting more funds to Thornton Township. The referendum, set to appear on next week's primary ballot, seeks taxpayers' approval for a 0.15% property tax increase designated for a mental health service. So mental health services there in the township. It also says that if it's passed, the measure would generate close to $3 million in new taxes, translating to approximately $200 annually for a home valued at $200,000. However, mayors argue that Supervisor Henyard has not provided a clear details on how the funds would be utilized. They referenced Fox 32's investigation reporting on Henyard's spending, both in her capacity as the township supervisor as well as the mayor of Dalton. Allegations include thousands of dollars spent on out-of-town trips, the use of police for personal security, extensive credit card expenditures, and the redirection of public tax dollars to a charity bearing her name. Now, the next story that we're going to read, we're going to finish this one, but the next story that we're going to read is dealing specifically with that out-of-town trip that was taken last May to Las Vegas, the one where she said she goes and she gets this business and brings it back and bring back the bag. Here you go. It goes on to say in this particular article, where's the mental health facility going to go? And what actually are they going to do? She's never communicated to any mayor that I'm aware of, the person says, and that really that is really our concern. What is she going to do with this pot of money that she's going to get? This was from the East Hazelcrest mayor, Thomas Brown. Now, she's going to start windmilling at everybody the way that she normally does. But these are not people that don't have their own individuals that voted for them. Okay. There are a total of 17 suburbs within Thornton Township, as we mentioned. At least 11 of the mayors of those villages have signed on to the letter. Now, Fox 32 reached out to Henyard through her public relations agency. So far, they've not received any response. Let's take a look If they have the video here with these gentlemen a little concerned about this, let's see.
We want some openness about what's being done, and that's not what we got.
South suburban mayors are urging their constituents to vote against a proposed property tax increase. That increase would put nearly $3 million in new spending in Tiffany Henyard's hands.
The referendum on next week's ballot says the money would go for mental health services, but the mayors say they have no idea where it's going. Fox 32's Dane Placco has the story.
How many of the villages do you think are opposed to this?
The majority of them?
All of them.
All of them?
All the ones that signed.
The mayors of Markham, Homewood, and East Hazel Crest are among 11 South suburban mayors, plus a state senator and county commissioner, who signed a letter urging their constituents to vote no to giving Thornton Township more money.
Everyday residents just don't want to see their taxes go up. And if they do, they want to know why.
It comes in the form of a referendum question on next week's primary ballot that asks taxpayers whether they support a 0.15% property tax increase for the township for purposes of providing community mental health facilities for the person with a developmental disability or substance use disorder. If approved, it would raise nearly $3 million in new taxes, roughly $132 a year for a home worth $300,000. But the mayors say they're reluctant to give Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard what they say essentially amounts to a blank check.
How much money is going to actually be generated? Where's the mental health facility going to go? And what actually are they going to do? She's never communicated to any mayor that I'm aware of. And that's really our concerns is, what is she going to do with this pot of money that she's going to get?
And they point to our reporting on Henyard's spending, both as township supervisor and as the mayor of Dalton, including thousands of dollars for trips out of town, using police for a personal security detail, hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit card charges, and public tax dollars funneled into a charity in Henyard's name.
I just see waste, and it's waste upon waste upon waste. And thankfully, your stories bring it all out.
Fox 32 has also reported that FBI agents have questioned nearly a dozen people about Henyard, who last week vetoed a proposal by Dalton trustees to launch an investigation into her spending practices.
We're trying to alert the taxpayers in Thornton Township of this wasteful spending. And the answer is simple: vote no.
Thornton Township voters turned down a similar referendum in the last general election, but the mayor's worry, with turnout expected to be very small for the primary, this time there could be a different outcome. In Markham, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Okay, now you saw that, but here is, to me, the worst of all stories, because it involves an individual who went on that trip that they talked about last year when they went into Las
Joe
Vegas.
Biden unveiling a budget
So
proposal
let me
today aimed
stop
at getting
this right here. I don't want to hear that story, but let me give you guys this, because this is the story that really is concerning. Apparently last year when they went on this trip, something happened and it's not pretty. So let's get into
right
that.
to those disturbing allegations against the mayor of Dalton and an unnamed village trustee. We've learned the Illinois Department of Human Rights is investigating complaints of sexual harassment and retaliation. NBC5's Regina Waldrop has been poring over the documents in the case, and you're here now with what they reveal. Regina?
Stephen Marion, a few days ago, NBC5 obtained complaints filed with the Department of Human Rights through a Freedom of Information request. Now, they're filed against Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the village of Dalton and Thornton Township. A former female employee who was Henyard's assistant alleges retaliation, sexual harassment, and discrimination after she raised concerns about an apparent non-consensual sexual encounter between her and an unnamed village trustee. The Dalton police officer says in a separate complaint filed with the Department of Human Rights that he also faced retaliatory actions for coming forward with what he witnessed. The incident allegedly occurred during an economic development trip to Las Vegas last May. On that trip, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and a handful of village representatives, including her former assistant who filed this complaint with the Illinois Department of Human Rights, and 2 village trustees. We're not naming the woman because NBC5 does not name people who possibly were a victim of an unwanted sexual encounter. According to her complaint, the woman says she went to dinner with an unnamed Dalton trustee. The complaint then recounts the following events. After dinner, she says she started to feel disoriented, extremely lightheaded, as if the ground was moving. She says she blacked out. According to the complaint, the next morning, she woke up in the trustee's hotel room with no memory of how she got there, experiencing physical discomfort. She says after returning to Dalton, Officer Byron Miles, who was part of Henyard's security detail and went on the trip to Vegas, told her a trustee on the trip told him that the trustee had unprotected sex with her. Officer Miles has also filed a complaint with the Human Rights Department. The woman states in her complaint that after she was told this, she went immediately to seek medical care. Both complaints then provide details of a meeting which took place the following day with the former assistant, Officer Miles, and Mayor Henyard. At this meeting, the woman informed Henyard that she would never willingly have sex with the trustee. Officer Miles informed Henyard and the woman that the trustee called him that night in Vegas. The trustee, he says, then bragged about the sexual activities he engaged in with the woman, Miles' complaint says, suggesting that she may have not had the ability to consent or did not provide consent. According to the complaint, Officer Miles recorded some of this conversation on his iPhone. According to the complaints, the mayor said that if this information became public, she would be ruined, that all the work she'd done would be lost. The ex-employee says the mayor told her she would take care of it and to trust her. Days later, according to her complaint, the woman was put on unpaid medical leave, though she says she did not request to be put on leave. She was later terminated. In his complaint, Officer Miles alleges that he...
Okay, now, you know, we have to stop in between while we're working on any of the stories like this because we can't use their whole piece without a comment. Here's the comment. What she's done in that particular case to give aid and comfort to this individual and then to turn right around, put her on leave without her request or without her asking for it, and then to turn right around and to retaliate against her for coming forward. That's almost like violating the Whistleblowers Act, if you will. This young woman had the right to go and complain and say, hey, this is what happened to me. And she had the right not only to do that, but she also had the right to receive assistance in that there'd be an investigation opened by their human resources department, as well as whomever else they had to reach out to. She had the right to do that, to get some type of closure or to get the ball rolling in an investigation to you know, you could never be made whole, but to at least have somebody document what happened to her. God forbid she should catch some terrible disease from that evening, right? But for Henyard to say, I will take care of it, allegedly, and then to turn right around and terminate her, this is a lawless mindset. And there are going to be more instances, I believe, with regards to this particular woman and the lawlessness that she functions under because she's getting more and more emboldened to do illegal acts. Let's listen to the rest of the story.
Was demoted to patrol duty, among other retaliation, for coming forward as a witness. They're asking for back pay, front pay, punitive damages, and attorney's fees. In a statement to NBC5, the village says it conducted a thorough investigation into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say former police officer Miles was interviewed and denied knowing anything about these allegations, and the alleged victim refused to cooperate. The statement continues, this is nothing more than two disgruntled village employees trying to make off with taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. The village looks forward to defending these allegations and pursuing all other available remedies to the village. So the attorney who represents both the woman and Officer Miles says Officer Miles is, in fact, still employed with the Dalton Police Department. He also told us a criminal complaint on behalf of Mayor Henyard's ex-assistant is imminent. Now, coming up at 10, we talked to 3 village trustees about the Department of Human Rights investigation and what happens next. Marion.
Regina, we look forward to that story tonight. Thank you.
Right to those disturbing.
Okay, so when we look into this, we already know that this story is off the rails. This is even deeper than some of the things that she's been going back and forth with. Now, here's going to be a problem. Here's going to be the problem. If they felt intimidated, excuse me, if the police officer felt intimidated when they investigated and had the conversations with him because he was demoted. Mind you, you guys already know my background is human resources. I can tell you the direction this could go. If that individual was intimidated when they spoke to him and they wrote down everything he said, if he did not say to the affirmative that he has information and knowledge regarding this alleged attack or alleged assault, if he didn't say that when they were dealing with all the documentation or whatnot, being that he still has his job, it's going to be very difficult. Moreover, this is the sad piece. If the young lady backed down in any way or said no, sure, she could come back later and say that she was intimidated, which, it could very well be by the nature of this young lady. But whenever you guys are involved in an issue or a situation where you are in the boss's office, the chances of them keeping you are very slim. Tell all of it, every inch of it, all of the truth. Scream it from the rafters, from the time the conversation starts to the middle of the conversation, all the way to the end of the conversation. You stick to your guns and tell the truth from the beginning to the end. Because if you think that they're going to keep you around after you blow the whistle, your chances of getting let go are very great, as in the case with this woman, as in the case with Fonnie Willis, when that young lady went to her and told her, hey, not necessarily about a sexual assault, but when the woman went and said, hey, listen, this guy that you've got that's using all of the federal money that's coming to you, he's going to be your ruin. He's going to be he's going to bring trouble to your office. And the woman said, Fonnie Willis said, yeah, okay, no problem. I got you. Paraphrasing, I got you. And shortly after that, she fired her. So if you ever have the opportunity to tell the truth about something that has happened to you and you're in human resources office, or you're speaking to the boss with human resources sitting in the corner writing notes, you better scream it from the rafters. Scream it from the rafters. And to our point here, Rich Spellman says the victim was victimized twice. Hey, William, absolutely. This victim was victimized 2 times. So this is where Henyard is now. Now she's saying publicly, or whenever they recorded her, hopefully they did record it all. She's saying, hey, this can't get out, because if it gets out, this is going to be terrible for me. It's going to ruin everything that I've ever accomplished or everything that I've ever done. This can't get out. So you really stupid. Because had she decided to play this thing the right way, which would have been to publicly say, hey, listen, we're going to support this victim. This victim came here and said X, Y, or Z, and, take care of the victim, and then make sure that after you've done your thorough investigation, you turn over the victim's opportunity to speak. Let the victim file a complaint if she wants to, but wash your hands of homeboy, because you're trying so hard and desperately to cover this man that has done these acts allegedly to this woman, that you're willing to lose everything you have to support somebody. But let me tell you guys what I've always said. The main reason why she's trying to support this cat is because, what did we say about that young lady that I had to term years ago? The reason why people will come after somebody is gone is because of the dirt they know you did. So this gal had dirt on the manager that I let go, but she wasn't going to tell the dirt then because she didn't want the manager to tell her dirt. That's the same thing. We can't let him go. We can let her go because she's just been my assistant, and she could just be, she's just a casualty of war. But him, we can't let him go. We can't make him leave disgruntled, this trustee that went to Las Vegas. So remember, this was on that Las Vegas trip where they had gone, all of them last year. On this Las Vegas trip, they all got, fun and had fun and happiness. And apparently, according to this woman, something could have been put in her drink. She said she felt lightheaded, like she was falling. She couldn't control herself, right? So there's some trouble coming, not to mention the fact of what we saw at the very beginning. You have all of these other mayors that are saying, listen, we just had somebody sign off and say, all of us have agreed. 11 of those mayors for that township has come forward to say, we don't want to have nothing to do with giving her any more money. No more money. No more money. Oh, no. We've already talked about that. We've already talked about this, Asta, and at length. Yeah, where she spent all that. Yeah, we have talked about this woman, as everybody has, right? We have talked about this woman ad nauseum. This is just like adding a little bit of the icing, Asta, on the cake. What she's done. Oh yeah. He says, are you skipping the part of her taking a vacation that had nothing to do with work, where she spent $22,000 on a trip when she was in the position of chair that she challenged the previous mayor on? Whoa, that's huge. But it goes to her character, right, Asta? It just goes to her character. All of the stuff that we're seeing right now goes to her character. To me, to have other mayors saying, oh, no, you're not getting this $3 million until we see the plan, until we know exactly where this money is going, until we see the plan that you have for the mental health arena, whatever it is that she's got going on, a facility. We want to see the plans for the mental health facility. Has anybody seen it? They're asking. Anybody? Anybody? Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? No, I ain't seen it. Nobody's seen it. Because again, it is a phantom idea. The same way she sat there on Roland Martin and said, hey, you know what? No, I don't know anything about a Tiffany Henyard, what was that? The breast cancer thing. She didn't know anything about it. Now, very, very telling here, before I get off of this, I want you guys to see something. Here, this man that made the comment, there you go, right there. Pay attention to this. Let me go ahead and play.
In a statement to NBC5, the village
Keith
says
Freeman.
it conducted a
You
thorough
see that?
investigation.
Keith Freeman. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Let's see. Can you make it bigger? No, we can't make it any larger. Keith Freeman, the village administrator. This is the man that they were just investigating. And by investigating, I mean reporters were investigating, showing that he has a very checkered past. Financially, he's been allegedly arrested for doing some financial misgivings. He had some financial stuff that he was involved in, even did a bankruptcy and lied about the amount of money that he made per annum from one of the jobs. He said he only had one, but he ended up having two, the position with the city of Dalton, as well as the township. He had money that he was making there. But apparently, according to his bankruptcy that was public record, he only filed one of those jobs. Okay. So this is the individual who is writing these stories. Once you do some background on Keith Freeman, as I have, as well as a lot of other bloggers here on YouTube and elsewhere, we find that he has had a checkered past with arrests that go way back. Why is he working there? I don't know. Why is he a 1099 and he's taking place and he's literally sitting doing the village work on their board meetings and on their trustee, on the village of Dalton, Illinois meetings? He's sitting there as if he's an elected official, but he is a 1099. He's constantly there and he's a 1099. So he doesn't even pass the 1099 test. He doesn't even pass the test. He doesn't pass the test. He doesn't pass the 1099 test, and he more than likely passes the test that makes him exempt, if anything. He's probably an exempt employee, but now they're having him as a 1099, and he has all liberty. He has all liberty all over the place as if he worked for them. So 1099, he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to go in, do a specific set of work. That specific scope of work needs to be outlined, and then they need to make sure that he does X, and that's it. But this is the guy that's the village administrator. How can you be the village administrator and be 1099? Maybe it's just something that I'm not privy to. Maybe I'm wrong. But let's finish listening to this so that we can close this out.
Into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say former police officer Miles was interviewed and denied knowing anything about these allegations, and the alleged victim refused to cooperate. The statement continues, this is nothing more than two disgruntled village employees trying to make off with taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. The village looks forward to defending these allegations and pursuing all other available remedies to the village.
So the attorney who represents both the woman and Officer Miles says Officer Miles is, in fact, still employed with the Dalton Police Department. He also told us a criminal complaint on behalf of Mayor Henyard's ex-assistant is imminent. Now, coming up at 10, we talked to 3 village trustees about the Department of Human Rights investigation and what happens next. Marian.
Regina, we look forward to that.
Let's see if they have that story up, because they said that it was coming up at 10 o'clock, and that would be 10 tonight. So let's just take a look right quick. You guys, my allergies are bugging me. Hold on. And it didn't help me that I just picked up Buddy, right? And stroked his loving hair. Hold on. It didn't help me any that I just picked you up, you sweet little puppy poodle, and rubbed him ever so gently. All right, so let's see if there's any more stories about her that supposedly.
Hey, streamers, we know you like to catch up on local news.
Videos. Is this it, you think? Or is this the same one we just watched? No, that's the same one we just watched. I'm looking for the ones where they said they had some new, some of the people from Dalton. We heard what she just said. She had 3 of the trustees. Okay. Well, we'll look for that story as it becomes available. However, really, I think we pretty much talked about our main piece, right? There's a measles story here. And what I was going to do is I'm actually coming back to talk to you guys about this whole measles outbreak. So that'll be a separate video because my brother in California said, calling me by my middle name, T, you just do too long. Your videos be too long. I'm dang. So with that in mind, I just decided that what I would do is just, cut it short and come back in a few minutes and do the measles. And then I got to do another one. And then I got to do another one because he doesn't want me mishmashing them all together. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way. So, hey there, Betty R. So nonetheless, I wanted to bring those 2 stories to you because I thought it was quite telling about how this stuff is going outside of the village. She's able to yell at everybody there in Dalton. She goes off on them at the meetings. She hides stuff. Whatever it is that she's doing is coming to light. And that's just how it is. Whenever you're doing filth and dirt, eventually it will all come out in the wash. You can't do nothing that you think is in secret and it not be exposed. Pretty much. All right, you guys, I'm out of here on this one, but I'll be coming back in only moments. So if you can hang out, come on and hang out with me. You guys take care. Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will.
Lockhart Perspective.